Hey guys, welcome to another tutorial in the LeetCode Easy Problem series. In this video, we'll be looking at LeetCode problem number 28, which is to find the index of the first occurrence in a string. So here we are given two strings um, as parameters to a function. We need to figure out the the index position of needle string within a haystack string. So this is a very common or a famous problem, finding needle in a haystack. What we need to return is, if you see the needle here is sad, we need to return the first occurrence of that word within a haystack. If you see, there is sad starting from zeroth index and sad at the very end of the word, right? But we need to return the first occurrence of sad. Okay, that's the problem here. So the output will be 0. Similarly, if the needle is not part of the haystack, we have LeetCode here, and the haystack is LeetCode, then we need to return an output of -1. So that's the idea, and I'll be discussing the approach here. So first and foremost, I have few different test cases. We'll get back to the test cases in a bit, but let's start with the approach of how to solve this. Okay, now I'm going to copy these strings and sad. Okay, now let's take a pointer of I, and then let's have a pointer for called j for the needle. Okay, now let me also give them the variable names here so that we know where we are uh, on the when we are looping through the word. So let me just get back to this place. Just give me 1 second, and then okay. Now we have two pointers, each pointer pointing to a different word. So one is pointing to haystack, one is pointing to the needle. So what should happen here is, we need to check if the element that I is pointing to is equal to the element that the j is pointing to. So in this case, both s and a are equal. So in that case, what we are going to do is, we are going to move j as well as I. I will be part of the for loop, and j is a separate variable that we are going to maintain. We are going to increment it whenever we find an equality check. So a is also equal, so we are going to move to the next word, next element. D is also equal. Then we are going to move, and then we have hit the end of the needle. So we are going to be returning the value of the first character, right, which is the start pointer of it. That will be I minus j, right? Um, so let's take another case. Will be LeetCode, and the needle will be okay. So let me get rid of the quotes here. All right. In this case, we are going to have two pointers again, pointing to the one pointing to the haystack and one pointing to the needle. All right. So here we know that these two are matching, so we are going to increment them. Here E's are also matching. T will also match, and then when we increment the last one, C and O, it's a mismatch, right? So what should happen is, we'll go back. We'll set the start pointer to I minus j, which will get back here, and then j will be reset, and I will increment as part of the for loop after we reset these values. So I will start here this time, and whenever we don't see an equality match, then we'll just keep on incrementing I until we find a match with the j pointer. Okay, so we are never going to hit a match because there is no other L in the haystack, and the loop ends. And if the loop ends, that means we couldn't find any value of the needle. We couldn't find the needle's head, so that's why we are going to be returning minus I. So that's the approach. So let's go ahead and try to solve it. Actually, let me take another variant of this. Let's take this test case. I wanted to show you one more thing here. Needle will be this. All right. In this case, we are going to have our I pointing to the first element, j pointing to the first element of the needle. Okay. In the right now, m and I are not matching, so we are going to increment I. So I is matching here, so we are going to increment both I and j, S is matching, we're going to increment both S and J. Again, S is matching, we are going to increment both I and J. We are going to sorry, the value will be ISSIP. Okay, and then we are going to increment I again and J again, and now we are going to increment one more time. Here on the last character we have S and P mismatch. So what should happen is we need to reset I to I minus J, which is going to uh, get it back to let's count it again. So where are we? 0, 1, 2, and 3. So that will be I minus 3, which will be 1, 2, 3, right? We're going to end up here, um, and we're going to be resetting our J value to 0. Okay, now what will happen is uh, we will be comparing these values again, and there's no match, so we are going to increment S. Again we are going to increment till we find a matching I. Now we have found an I. That means we can continue incrementing both the pointers. So I increment it again. Now I found a I, and then I found a P, so I'm going to increment both. And then once this is also equal, so we are going to increment both once again, and we have hit the end of the needle. And also yeah, we have hit the end of the needle. So if we hit either the end of haystack or the needle, we can stop processing the program. Now that we have hit the end of the needle, that means we have found the needle somewhere in the haystack. So the result will be we need to return I minus the length of the needle. So since I and j starts from 0, so it's going to be I minus j plus 1, which is going to give the actual index position. So that is how we are going to be returning our uh, first occurrence of the index within the haystack. Now let's go ahead and write the code.
So the first and foremost thing that we'll be doing is to declare a variable. Um, it's going to be a pointer to our needle, and then we are going to have a for loop where we'll be iterating over the haystack. So I'm going to have my pointer as I less than haystack dot length, and then I plus plus. So within each iteration, what I'll be doing is I'm going to first check whether um, haystack of I is equal to needle of j, and then else. Um, so first and foremost is I'm going to have j plus plus. In the else case, I will be having I'm going to be doing a reset of I and j. So if they are not equal, so I'm going to set I equal to I minus j. So that means um, I'm going to be resetting both I and j to the start pointer, and then since we are in the loop for loop, I is going to increment one step further. So I'm going to reset it to the previous start value, and then in the by the time next iteration starts, I will move one pointer ahead, right? So this is basically reset I to previous start pointer, and then j will always reset to 0 because we always have to start the needle from the beginning. Okay, this is what will happen. And then the breaking condition where we need to return the needle, return the first occurrence is if we have hit the end of the needle, if if j is equal to needle dot length, then we need to return I minus j plus 1. And finally, if we cannot, if we do not find a needle within this for loop, that means we could not find any occurrence of the needle. So we are going to be returning -1. So that's the logic to our program. We can try to run this. So as you can see, it has worked for both the cases. I'm going to add one more test case, which we have discussed. So this will have Mississippi, and my needle is going to have ISSIP. This should return 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 should be our answer. That's correct. So 4 is the expected output, and that's exactly what we got. So I'm going to go ahead and submit this. So this has worked. The solution has been accepted, and that is how you find a needle in a haystack. If you have any questions here, please feel free to ask them in the comment section below. I'm going to answer them as soon as possible. And if you have learned something from this video and if you have liked it, please consider subscribing to my channel and give this video a like. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you in the next tutorials.